I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Adrenaline in my soul, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 445 of the Hoots Podcast here on this Friday, December 27, 2024, which makes it the final edition of the podcast at Hoots here in 2024. It's yours truly, the nefarious Brother Adam, a.k.a. Joshie Lopez, here to rock and roll with you one final time here in 2024 as we head and switch our directions towards 2025. As I sit here in my palatial estate here in Chicago, Illinois, I am in a very introspective mood, to say the least, knowing that I just spent my last Christmas here in the city. And I'm also here just contemplating what the next couple months are going to look like, since these are going to be my last couple months here in Chicago. So all that being said, let's get into the shenanigans. That is the podcast at Hoots. You can find me on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast. Pretty simple ordeal there. Please do me a favor and make sure to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button. That way you never miss any previous editions of the Hoots Podcast. And this podcast comes to you free of charge anywhere you get your podcasts every single Friday. You can check out my play-by-play articles or transcripts at the results section at WrestlingHeadlines.com. Or if you just want to see my work alone, you can check that out at ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. We are 5 episodes away from getting to episode 450 of the Hoots Podcast, which will be taking place on January 31st, the day before the Royal Rumble. Which is going to be pretty cool. I'm very excited for that episode, which means we are officially hitting the final leg of this project, of this podcast, and this journey. We'll wrap it up in 2026, but we got more episodes to do. There's a lot of stuff to do. All that being said, let's get into this. I'm kind of going to go with the flow here. I really don't have much of a format that I want to go with today, so it can go in many different directions. This is going to be a pulpitude of just random thoughts in my head where I can kind of just reflect on what this year has been in the wrestling space. And, just go from there. I'm not really into the whole giving out awards or doing predictions type of shows for the following year. I know that's a easy clickbait type of thing to do. Maybe I'll give out some predictions or things I could see coming ahead in 2025. I could do that, but I just want to have just more of a general chat with you guys and just give you a bunch of random thoughts in my head. With wrestling, maybe some Chicago sports here, and then we'll do the back porch Q&A session. Is that okay, guys? So, 2024, the year I turned 30. These past couple years have not been easy for me. Anybody that's followed along the journey of this podcast kind of knows what I've been going through. I kind of documented to ad nauseum at this point, but 2024 in a lot of ways was very rewarding and very eye-opening to me for a lot of different reasons, personally and professionally. But when I look back at 2024 from a wrestling context, I felt like this was a really good rebound year for me in the sense that this was a full calendar year of doing transcripts with no budget cuts, no excuses to not do a show or anything like that. I was able to just do my work as it was from the beginning of January through now. And there's a lot of exciting things on the horizon for me. I think this has been one of the more rewarding years of my career of making play-by-play articles in the wrestling space because of the fact that I'm singular focused now, and that as much as I'd be loving to cover all the other promotions, I'm not doing this stuff for free. So it's giving me an opportunity to expand my, I won't say my effort, but expand the lengths in which I go through making these transcripts and the thought and detail that goes into it. So I feel like from a quality point of view, I think I've done my best work this year. I think that's shown in the number of times I've gone on Google to see that my articles rank as high as the outlets like CBS and Forbes and stuff like that, which is pretty cool to see. But it's also, I just feel like in a way that I feel like I've got a better grasp of the product with the format that I use, the outline that I use for these transfers. Like, for example, I'm recording this on a Friday afternoon. I'll be doing the final SmackDown this year from Tampa Bay, Florida. And, there's just a lot going on right now. Obviously, we got the premiere of Raw and SmackDown, the premiere of Monday Night Raw on Netflix on January 6th, plus SmackDown moving to 3 hours next Friday, which I'm really excited for. So I'm just really looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to moving out of this fucking house and not have to hear about freaking construction all the time. I'm sorry about that, guys. So when I look back at this year, it's just been very rewarding from a transcript point of view. I've had a lot of fun. I think I've been putting out my best work, but as a fan, I've there's been a lot of fun things to oversee. Seeing the rise and development of a Braun Breaker, coming up from NXT, seeing how great he's been as an Intercontinental Champion this year. Liv Morgan, who I think has been the breakout performer of 2024. I think Liv Morgan has far exceeded anybody's expectations of becoming a heel. And needless to be said, I think Liv Morgan has been the best female character in wrestling in 2024. I don't think she gets enough credit for what she does in the ring. And Liv Morgan, I think, really carried a lot of the weight in, just carried a lot of weight for the Monday Night Raw brand this past calendar year. And she had the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. She's probably one of the longest reigning women's world champions of all time, and she's killing it right now. I saw her on Netflix during Christmas promoting Raw on Netflix, which is pretty cool. And you have her and Rhea Ripley coming up at the premiere of Raw on Netflix for the Women's Championship. And these two have had a very personal rivalry this year, which I've enjoyed a lot. I know a lot of people are probably tired of it and just ready for it to move on to the next thing. But for me, I've enjoyed it for the most part. So I want to send out my flowers out to Liv Morgan, because a lot of people that do shows like this and my colleagues are, for whatever reason, like to poke holes through Liv Morgan and say that she's not worthy of her position just because of her looks and stuff like that. And she brings a lot to the table than just how hot she is. I mean, it's a fucking understatement that she's hot. But I think Liv Morgan's really good in the ring. She's effective enough on the microphone where you want to boo her, because we all know girls like that in our lives that could be very, very annoying and have a very annoying tone attached to it when they're going out of their way to be utterly obnoxious and egocentric and delusional. The stuff with her and Dominic Mysterio has been a lot of fun to watch and very entertaining, and I think Liv has been a good addition to the Judgment Day. So I don't know if I'm going to agree with Michael Cole and say that Liv Morgan's been the MVP of 2024, but she's had a very fantastic year, and I'm excited to see what she does in 2025. As we look through 2024, obviously we have Damian Priest becoming a world champion this year, Drew McIntyre becoming a world champion, Gunther being a world champion. Yeah, on the paper surface, you could look at it and be like, oh, there's been too much of a hot potato with the world title scene on Raw, and maybe it's not to the level of the Undisputed WWE Championship. I don't think it was ever designed to be that way, but I gotta say, man, from my recollection of 2024 with all the shows that I covered, I feel like Monday Night Raw was the most consistent and most entertaining show that I covered each week, regardless of the network that it was on. Monday Night Raw delivered a lot of goods throughout 2024, and you had a lot of great moments. Obviously, you know, having the feud of the year with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, given all the circumstances of Punk tearing his triceps during the Royal Rumble, through everything they did through the summer to get to the Hell in the Cell at Bad Blood, which was probably one of my favorite matches that I transcribed so far this year. But CM Punk and Drew McIntyre definitely worthy of the 2024 feud of the year. And Drew McIntyre was another guy that took his game to another level. You know, I think maybe some people could say that maybe this was a down year for Seth Rollins, but I don't know about you guys, but I have a feeling that everything that's going on right now is going to force Seth Rollins to becoming a heel. You know, Seth Rollins really did the Iron Man's work at WrestleMania this past year, going through that tag match with a bad knee against Roman Reigns and The Rock with Cody Rhodes, and then losing the title the next night to Drew McIntyre. Then, you know, Seth still on one leg limping out there to help Cody finish the story. You can look at accolades and stuff like that and say this was a down year for Seth Rollins, but I think in a lot of ways what happened this year in 2024 will be a catalyst of the Seth Rollins that we see in 2025. When I look at SmackDown, I feel like SmackDown kind of took a step back from the men's division. It was Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns or bust. Getting to see Kevin Owens in the spotlight and what he's been doing the past couple of months has been a nice thing to see as 2024 has been coming to an end. But I feel like in a way SmackDown's kind of taken a step back from a quality point of view. And that I think the draft did not do SmackDown any favors. And I think it's just time to put an end to the brand split, honestly. I don't think Solo Sikoa has gotten enough credit for how much he's improved this year on the microphone and how he's carried himself with this new bloodline. I know a lot of people make jokes about the Timu or Goodwill bloodline and stuff like that, but Solo's done a lot of good work this year. Different layers of the bloodline story, all the way to the OG group reuniting, Punk being involved. What's the favor that Paul Heyman owes CM Punk? A lot of questions are going into 2025 as we have this tribal combat match with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa on the premiere of Raw on Netflix in LA at the Intuit Dome. We have that on the horizon. Roman Reigns' epic title reign came to an end at WrestleMania 40, one of the greatest WrestleMania main events of all time. To find a way to top what they did the previous year. I know a lot of people are still salty about this about a year later, but I think the right decision was called at WrestleMania 39, and to the point where the moment and the celebration of what happened with Cody finishing at WrestleMania 40 would not have the same effect if Cody had won the title at WrestleMania 39. I'll debate that with anybody. Look what happened to where we got to WrestleMania 40, the roller coaster journey. I think if Cody just won straight up at WrestleMania 39, it would have been a shoulder shrug, and people would want him to turn heel by SummerSlam. I know this fan base like the back of my head, and it's too fickle. So, with the bloodline, you have the end of the title reign, the bloodline goes their separate ways. The new Bloodline attacks Paul Heyman at Madison Square Garden. Roman comes back at SummerSlam. We have these on-off matches where the new Bloodline won at Crown Jewel. The OG Bloodline won at War Games. We're going to get this match for Tribal Combat. Drew McIntyre is still in the mix because he wants to get revenge on the Bloodline. So we're still in the Bloodline vortex across both brands. But, the question is, how does The Rock fit in as we head into 2025? Does he pop up in Los Angeles for the Netflix premiere, or does he show up at the Royal Rumble? Because, Rock came out at Bad Blood at the end of the show, which was a big pop. He kind of did a throat slash type of thing, but was that directed towards Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes? How's that going to play out? The Rock had a big impact in WWE in 2024 and did some of the best character work of his entire career. Cody's moment or finishing story, I don't think would hit the same if it wasn't for the final boss. And, one of my favorite segments of the year was that brawl beatdown thing that The Rock did to Cody in the parking lot of the Rosemont Horizon, aka the Allstate Arena, and in the rain right before WrestleMania 40. The Rock did some epic shit in 2024. And I don't think his contribution should be understated. And I know some people probably would groan to hear that Rock could win the Royal Rumble in 2025, but I think it would make sense. It would have been this this past Royal Rumble or this year's Royal Rumble where The Rock would win, but we'll have to see how that plays out. I don't think anything is set in stone yet, and as The Rock said in multiple interviews, he's played the long game. He calls himself the long gamer. So we all can have theories and speculations that The Rock will fight Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41 in Vegas, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Then you have the guys like John Cena making his announcement that he's going to have his retirement tour in 2025, which will begin in Los Angeles. So I'm excited to see what's to come with that with John Cena. I think definitely you would run it back with John Cena and CM Punk as a pay-per-view match. Maybe something happens where Punk and Cena team up on a Saturday night's main event type of special. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think John Cena will definitely mix it up with Drew McIntyre, John Cena and Gunther, Braun Breaker, obviously. I think, something with John Cena and Dominic Mysterio would be pretty fun. Maybe we get one more John Cena and AJ Styles match, which would be nice. Do we get Randy Orton and John Cena one more time? A lot of different questions regarding John Cena and how this retirement tour is going to go, but it should be a lot of fun, and it's going to be emotional too. There's a lot of big international stadium shows that are coming up in 2025. We got the Elimination Chamber in Toronto in March. I think there probably will be a PLE in Mexico. Maybe do another one in Australia or something like that. But I think the string of big-time PLEs and international shows will happen, and a lot of Raws and SmackDowns are taking place in Europe as we get closer to WrestleMania 41. They're doing that big European TV tour, which I think is going to be pretty dope. And then for there, you got a lot of little different things you can look out for across both men's and women's divisions. When do we see the return of Charlotte Flair and grace us with her beautiful presence? Does Becky Lynch come back before WrestleMania? How things are going to play out with Tiffany Stratton holding the Money in the Bank briefcase. Nia Jax is still the women's champion on SmackDown. I talked about Liv and Rhea earlier. what's going on with Jade Cargill and that attack in the parking lot. I still think that Bianca Belair is behind it, but that's my guess. I think Bianca took Jade out, and I think that'll come to fruition sometime throughout springtime or whenever Jade decides to come back to TV. I don't know the severity of her injury, but if she is like deeply injured, I hope that she's all right and she recovers really soon. Tag team wrestling for Raw and SmackDown have definitely taken a step back in 2024, so hopefully we get some more interesting pairings and matchups. DIY being the tag champions against Motor City Machine Guns. I would hope that maybe be something where tag teams get more spotlighted on the PLEs in 2025. I think DIY against Motor City Machine Guns in Indy for the Royal Rumble would be pretty cool. But we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Other than that, take a look at NXT. I think NXT had a very, very successful 2024. I think NXT has been probably the best consistent weekly televised wrestling show throughout the calendar year. Besides Monday Night Raw, NXT's a blast for me to cover every Tuesday night. Seeing the development of both the men and the women. The women's division in NXT's on another level, the best women's division in all professional wrestling. And looking at Roxanne Perez, you got the beautiful and very sexy Corey Jade, Chicago's own Corey Jade, who's killing it as well. You got Stephanie Vancouver, Julia, Zarya, Solruka, Tata Paxley. Has impressed in a couple of recent matches. We got Jada Parker, who's going to be a big-time star as the months go by. Lola Vice, very well, can take another step. And then you got Fallon Henley, who became a champion in 2024. Fatal Influence. You got Kalani Jordan. I can keep going on with names and names. Thea Hale, that women's division in NXT is pretty stacked. I'm not going to lie about that. It's pretty stacked from top to bottom, and it's fun to watch. Tag team, I think the tag division in the men's scene definitely need some shaping up and maybe add some more veterans added to the both prospective divisions. Trick Williams and Obafemi are always a blast to watch. I'm excited for their triple threat match at New Year's Evil with Eddie Thorpe for the NXT Championship. I really enjoy Ava as general manager. I think she's doing a good job. Love to see what comes out of for Tony D'Angelo in 2025. Does he take that next step towards the main title in NXT? Lexis King has been putting his working boots on, man. Putting on barn burners. He's wrestling every week now. He's now your new Heritage Cup champion, so congratulations go out to Lexis King. We have Nathan Frazier and Axiom as the tag team champions. I think Frazier and Axiom are probably one of the best tag teams in the world. Their matches are always insane, especially on PLEs. I love covering this tag match. I see taking the move to CW and going to all these different markets outside of Orlando has been a great call, and it's been a lot of fun shows covering. Even the one that they did at the ECW Arena a couple months ago was really nice to see. And I think NXT is primed to have an even bigger year in 2025. And who knows who else is going to pop up and make an impact at NXT. So be on the lookout for NXT in 2025. So all in all, for me, looking back at the year 2024, there's been so many great moments. I mean, I don't know how you could top Cody winning the championship at WrestleMania 40, but it's up there for sure. So many great matches that I got a chance to cover this year, from Obviously, Cody and Roman, Drew and Drew, McIntyre and Punk at the Bad Blood for the Hell in a Cell match. Sammy and Gunther at WrestleMania. Gunther and Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin or King of the Ring. I thought the match that Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley had at SummerSlam was really good. Becky and Rhea for WrestleMania 40 was good too. All the great moments for Kevin Owens this year. 2024 it was a really good year for WWE, and I think that we're really in for a fun ride for 2025, and I can't wait for this Raw Netflix show, which will be taking place in 2 weeks. We still have a lot of work to do, folks, before we get to 2025. The first episode of the podcast for this year in 2025 will take place next Friday, which will be the 3rd. January 3rd will be our first episode of 2025. And, who would thunk it that this show would get to 450 episodes? It's insane, right? So, all in all, that's brief enough. This is some of my takeaways for 2024 and what's to look ahead in 2025 for WWE. And when we come back, we'll answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 445 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Yeet. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. One more segment to do here as we hit to the final stretch of 2024. Let's do it, folks. One more Back Porch Q&A session for 2024. Let's throw up the X. Let's do it. Throw up the X for the good brother Chris Zaletta at XTeamZaletta24X on the Twitter machine. Let's hear what Chris has to say. What a boost. Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Any interest in watching Wrestle Dynasty? That is a hashtag no. I'm not. Unless I'm getting paid to cover it, I have zero fucks given about it whatsoever. For example, let's take a look at this card for Wrestle Dynasty, by the way. An International Women's Cup Final 4-Way, where the winner receives a Women's Championship match for the participating promotion of their choosing. Will Nightingale from AEW, Persephone from CMLL, Athena, Momo Wanatame from Stardom. So that's a 4-way match. And the other pre-show match will be for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles as Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara takes on House of Torture Sho and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Hold on. Kanemaru joined the House of Bums? Oh my god. The House of Shit got Yoshinobu Kanemaru. It makes perfect sense. Alright, so Zack Sabre Jr. will be taking on Ricochet. We'll have either Kinosuke Takeshita or Shingo Takagi taking on Ishii for the Never Openweight Championship. That should be a good match. Yota Tsuji against Jack Perry, Kenny Olivier against Gabriel Kidd, Shota Umino against Claudio Castagnoli, David Finlay against Brody King, the Great O'Connor and person to be determined later against the Young Bucks for the vacated IWGP Tag Team titles, Mercedes Moné. This will be a winner's take all match for the Strong Women's Championship and the Undisputed Women's Championship match. It'll be Mercedes Moné against Mina Shirakawa, and then we'll have an 8-man Lucha Gauntlet match where 4 wrestlers from New Japan and 4 wrestlers from CMLL will be announced. Get some water here. You know what? Since we're talking about this, I wanted to play some audio from a promo that Gabe Kidd did on the other day about Kenny Omega and AEW. I think you guys should listen to this.
That guy was messing up my name. If you're not happy, off.
Alright, hold up. Let's get back to this part here.
Listen, I don't care about this Kenny Omega touch. Whatever you think you're doing, giving me a match at the Dome. I don't need you. I don't need you. because he's unhappy at his workplace. Well, leave then. You're the president there. You're a vice president there. If you're not happy, off. I expect he'll get some receipts. I expect I agreed to do the match because, like I say, I am a professional, but he's going to catch some serious licks in there regardless. Like, I'm going to up for what he did because this was never I never envisioned this or saw things going down like this, so I'll do the match, but he's going to know that he's fucked up, and I'm going there to hurt him at the end of the day. Listen, people want to talk about me being unprofessional, being unsafe. Yeah, I am unsafe, very unsafe. I go out there and try and hurt people. I go out there and try and break people's necks, try and break people's legs. Look what I did to Eddie Kingston. Some other guy from Anthony Henry from Ring of Honor, I put him out as well. I didn't even know until about 2 weeks ago. He's been out for a month with a torn bicep. I hurt Hanare, I hurt Sanada, I've hurt Goto. I could list 10 names right now. I'm not like any other wrestler on this planet. I don't give a what these nerds on the internet say about me. I'm a madman, clinically insane. 4 police cars outside of my house. My mother called the police on me because she was so worried about what I was going to do. So why the think I care about what any of these little nerds say about me? Try it. I dare you to try something when we see each other. Even if I see you before, I dare you to try something. Because I'm not... This business is full of pussies. Little bum suckers. All the people in his company queuing outside Tony Khan's office. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do this. You're a bunch of egotistical nerds is what you are. Who've never got any pussy. It's embarrassing. The whole thing's embarrassing. I don't want anything to do with AEW. If New Japan, this is my plan. If New Japan want to take it to the next level and regain the top spot as the top wrestling company, to off AEW. Because they're just embarrassing nerds that aren't helping us. They take, don't give anything back, so them. I don't give a shit if AEW want to sign me. What? So I can go and turn up to TV, be Tony's new toy, go on Dynamite, have a couple of matches, and then sit and eat catering for 23 weeks, doing flying to Toledo, Ohio, to do what? A show in front of a crowd that have seen 5 hours of wrestling already. Like, I have no interest in that whatsoever. Wrestling to me, I'm a professional, but wrestling means more to me than these guys, and I think it's about time that someone with New Japan stepped up and had some f***ing balls. We are getting our pants pulled down and dogged by the rest of the wrestling world because of being professional. So maybe it is time to be a little bit unprofessional. Maybe it is time to talk a bit of shit. And if they have anything to say about it, they can come and chat to me. I have no problem pulling Tony Khan into an office and telling him what's what. I have no problem reading him his rights and telling him what a idiot he is. So that's that.
Alright. So good comments there from Gabe Kidd, sorry. I apologize again for all the noise in the background. These guys have been doing construction work at my house for the last 3 weeks nonstop, so I apologize in advance for that. Let's continue on with the questions here, shall we? Do you think the reveal of who attacked Jade happens in the next few weeks? Yes. Yes, that will happen. Who would you say is the breakout performer of 2024 in wrestling? I think it's Liv Morgan. I had to take a swig of water there. Yeah, I think it's Liv Morgan. It's not even close. I think she's a breakout performer from character, importance on the card, importance to the brand, equity, just everything. I think Liv Morgan is really stood out more than anybody else from a breakout point of view. I would definitely say it's Liv Morgan. Thoughts on SmackDown going to 3 hours? You're not going to hear me complain about it. This is something that I've been wanting for a while, and I appreciate the extra money. So, yes, I'm all in for SmackDown going to 3 hours. Who do you think beats Nathan Frazier and Axiom for the tag team titles? Wow, that's a good question. I'm stuck, man. I'm gonna go with. I think Hank and Tank will do it. One way or another, I think Hank and Tank will be the ones to take the titles off of Frazier and Axiom. It might be some fatal 4-way match or something like that, but I think Hank and Tank will win the championships. That's my guess. Last question here: which GM, Ava, Adam Pearce, or Nick Aldis, would you give the MVP to in 2024? Great question, brother. Great question. Let me do my Trump impression here. That was the number one question that I got. The number one question. If I had to pick an MVP out of the GMs for 2024, my pick will be Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce has been one of my favorite GMs since Teddy Long. He has a lot of equity, a lot of experience with this. I think he's getting better as the months and years go by with it. Obviously, a very talented performer. Just look back at his wrestling career and the stuff he does as a producer. He's great on TV. I enjoy all his little side things where he's like, I need a drink, or it's official, or how he busts the chops with the Judgment Day, or when he goes off on Drew McIntyre and stuff like that. Adam Pearce is one of my favorite GMs, and I would give a slight nod to Nick Aldis too. He does a great job on SmackDown. But if I had to pick an MVP for this year alone, I'm going to go with Adam Pearce. I think he's been the best general manager in the business today, and it's not close. On that note, we're going to put a ribbon on the bow for this week's edition of the Hoots Podcast. So I want to thank Chris for the questions always. If you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. And as always, make sure to follow me at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast. Hit me up at Instagram at Joshie Lopez Music. Check out my result articles at WrestlingHeadlines.com and or ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. And the best way to really, truly support this podcast is to follow the podcast and stream the podcast every single week on Spotify. So repeat, follow and stream the Hoots Podcast on Spotify. And also, if you want to help us out on YouTube, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. You can hit us up at Twitter. You can hit us up on YouTube at the Hoots Podcast and make sure you smash the subscribe button so we can get closer to 1,000 subscribers. I want to get one of those plaques before I put a ribbon on the bow for this podcast. So appreciate the support, everybody. I'm Joshie. Remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. And remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself with the man upstairs. Have a wonderful weekend. Hope each and every single one of you had a great holidays with your families. And until next time, Happy New Year. And I'll see you on the other side of 2025. This has been episode 445 of the Hoots Podcast. On the road to 500 continues. We'll talk to y'all next week. Yeet.
Bye-bye, bitch.